What's up, YouTube? Hey, so I want to talk about how to become an absolute beast in communication, whether you're on the stage, on the phone, on Zoom, in person. This is your most valuable skill. What you're about to learn is what's made me a lot of money over the last 20 years and how I became an expert at communication. I'm going to be sharing some very, very fire tips, some golden nuggets, if you will. So definitely grab a notepad. You're going to want to jot down some notes for sure, because this could absolutely change the game for you. So stick around to the end. With that being said, a little bit about why I'm qualified to talk about expert level communication. Number one, I grew up with a severe stutter. You might not believe me. That's okay. I'm 37 right now, but from the age of like 1 to 18, I could barely talk. I could barely communicate. So if anybody is least likely to succeed, as voted least likely to be able to communicate at a high level, it's yours truly, Nick Skordos. Now, you might not have a speech impediment like I did. You might just be a little nervous when it comes to public speaking. Kind of weird for you. Or maybe you're pretty good, but you just want to sharpen your skills. I feel like what you're about to learn in this video is gonna help you take things to the next level for sure. And so grab your notepad, grab your pen, and let's get right into it. Number one. So I've got several tips. First tip being, number one, the audience is going to forget 90% of what you talk about, of what you say, but they're not going to forget the way that you made them feel. The reality is everybody self-conscious, everybody, including the audience. So the majority of who you're speaking to, they're all wrapped up in themselves. And do I look good? Does this shirt make me look fat? How do I sound? How do I smell? Hey, what's going on tonight for dinner, right? Their mind's in a million other places. However, they will forget what you say, but they'll never forget the way that you made them feel. So let's talk about it. The power of tonality. I don't care what you're delivering. Maybe you're talking to your son, like I just had to go reprimand my son. He's acting a crazy fool with his friends over. My son probably forgets what I just spoke to him, but I can promise you this. He did not forget the way that I delivered it, the way that I made him feel. So number one, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So maybe you're trying to motivate your team. Maybe you're trying to discipline your kids. Maybe you're trying to sell from a stage. Maybe you're trying to close an insurance deal. You're trying to write up a mortgage. You're, trying to sell your coaching program. I don't care what it is that you're doing. The way that you communicate is the number one highest paid skill in the world. Try to prove me wrong. I promise you, you go to a billionaire like Warren Buffett said, back in the day when he learned how to sell, when he learned how to communicate, he said that was the most valuable skill that he could learn. Look at Steve Jobs, rest in peace to the late, great Steve Jobs. I would argue to say one of the best communicators in our generation. I mean, the guy was not a technology genius, but what did he know how to do? He knew how to control a room. And so that's what I'm going to teach you here. But number one, you got to focus on tonality. You have to focus on not the words you're saying, but how you're saying it. And so I would have a little pre-speaking checklist, right? Make sure that you rehearse. See, back in the day when I couldn't really speak that well, I practiced. I spent hours beating on my craft. Just like if you're, playing basketball, learning how to box, you got to put in the repetitions. So listen, public speaking, sales, the art of communication, the art of, getting what you want, persuading, that's a skill set. And skill sets, unlike talents, can be developed. I am not a talented speaker. I'm going to tell you that right now. There are people with mounds more talent than I have, but I'm extraordinarily skilled because I've beaten my craft to death, and I know the power of tonality. I could get a room fired up. I can get them hyped up, ready to go. I mean, if you put me in a room, I don't care if it's 1,000, there's 100,000, 15,000, or 5 people. I'll get that room to laugh with me. I'll get that room to cry with me. I'll get them ready to run through a brick wall by the time that I'm done. The question is, do you have that same power? I'm telling you right now that power can transform your life. So, number one, you got to practice on your tonality. Focus on not just the words that you're going to say. Everyone's got a script. Everyone's got a message that they want to deliver. Can you deliver it like a beast, like a pro? Get them fired up. Get them thinking about the problem that you're trying to solve. One of the things that my company uses me to do oftentimes is get the team fired up, get the company fired up before a big sales contest. And something that I'm pretty good at doing. And so they know, just get Skordos the mic, let him rip off the top of the dome. I'm like one take Drake. That's what I call myself. It's kind of corny. I get it. Please don't make fun of me in the comments. But no, and so I kind of call myself one take Drake, you know what I mean? And people that have shot footage of me, like will tell you that, it's just like a corny little joke that I call, but say, give me a mic and I'll rip it, right? I don't care what stage that I'm on, Zoom, whatever. I don't care how much sleep that I got. If I just got off of a flight, I'm always ready. Why is that? Because I've beaten this craft to death. And so the question that I would ask you is, how serious are you about crushing the stage? How serious are you about, taking your communication skills to the next level? If you're serious about it, you better be ready and willing to put in the work. Number 2, the way you look is 92% of it. 92% of communication is nonverbal. So the colors you're wearing, are you wearing a suit? Are you trying to motivate a crowd in a hoodie? Okay, probably not. They're probably not going to take you seriously, right? So the way you look, your body language. If you notice me, I'm talking with my hands a lot. See, the audience can hear what you're saying, but they need to see what you mean. They can hear what you're saying, but they got to see what you mean. And so when you're communicating, body language is very, very important. So I would identify your body language. Okay. Like how, what type of message are you trying to get across? If you look at some of the greatest speakers on YouTube, Patrick Bet-David's, someone that comes to mind, someone who I look up to. I've been studying him for many, many years. One of the best communicators, in my opinion, in the nation right now. Incredible. And his body language is 10 out of 10. His voice influx, his breathing, these are all things that communicators notice about other communicators. He's just like an impeccable speaker. I hope one day that I can speak as well as him or even half as good. But with that being said, your body language. So that's number 2. Number 3, nutrition. Yes, I said it, nutrition. Listen, y'all, communication is, in my opinion, it's almost like a sport. And you've got to treat yourself almost like an athlete. And so it plays such a big role. Like, what did you eat that day? What are you eating before your speech? Are you drinking water? What's your caffeine level look like? How energetic are you? Okay. You better not get up there and give a speech if you haven't, had something to, like a healthy snack or a bunch of water, right? You got to make sure that your body is properly fed so that you're firing on all cylinders. You got to be mentally sharp. You've got to be mentally sharp. And so nutrition, sleep, everything. Like if I'm planning a big speech, I'm making sure that I'm on point. Like everything's like ready to go. I'm up early. I'm getting to the gym, getting a workout in, right? I'm bringing my best self to that engagement. I don't care, if I'm speaking to 4 people, 1 person, or 10,000, I'm bringing my absolute best. So number 3, you got to make sure that you are well fed, that you're well slept, well rested, right? Well hydrated. Make sure that the mind and body are connected. And you could tell, man, whenever you're on fire, one of my old mentors taught me back in the day, you can't give fire to someone else if you're not caught on fire yourself. Number 4, listen, you've got to prepare. The best communicators, in my opinion, John Maxwell, taught me this years ago, that, try to teach them 3 to 5 points, 3 to 5 bullet points. And then, and you want to deliver those 3 to 5 bullet points as effectively and as powerfully as possible. So before I go to speak, I try to give them 3 to 5 bullet points, for them to write down, and so that they have some substance that they can take home. So it's not just motivation, it's not just rah-rah, it's like actionable steps that they can take. And I prepare those 3 to 5 bullet points, and I rehearse them, and I study them. I don't care if it's on the flight there, if it's as I'm listening to like the other speakers getting ready, I'm going through them and I'm visualizing myself going through those bullet points, and sort of closing my eyes, looking at the crowd, getting them fired up, right? Getting them engaged, in my own mind. So I'm well preparing my notes, but I'm also going through that repetitiously. Not sure if that's a word or not. Might have just made that up. Nonetheless, just going to go with it. But I'm repeating that through my mind, going through all my bullet points. So when I speak, it's crisp. But hey, listen, number 5, probably the most important thing, you got to let the spirit flow, as I call it. Sometimes I feel like I get the Holy Spirit and I just start ripping. So if you get like an urge or, something, that you just want to say that you feel like someone in that crowd needs, you just got to let that rip, let it rip, tater chip, right? So number 5, if you're feeling it, you got to run with it. But that's why it's so important to be mind, body, spirit connected, because when you're speaking, if you listen to the greatest preachers, if you listen to the greatest speakers, Stephen Furtick's one that comes to mind. Not sure if he's the greatest preacher, not sure that I biblically, agree with everything that he believes in. That's okay. Guy's one of the most best. He's probably one of the best preacher communicators out there. I mean, he can get a crowd going. I mean, that dude is an absolute beast. Again, not sure that I agree with everything on a theological level. That's a whole different story. But one thing that I do agree with him on is he is one of the best communicators. Same thing with TD Jakes, right? I mean, they just get you emotionally just charged up, because you can feel the spirit like in them, like they are inspired. And when they speak, it just lights the room on fire. Don't be afraid to just let that rip. Some of my best speeches I've ever given were unscripted, just like this one, right? I had a few points that I wanted to deliver, but a lot of this is just straight from the heart. And, it's just straight from the soul. So I hope this finds you well. I hope that you become the absolute best communicator that you can possibly be. Listen, the world needs more communicators. The world needs more good men, good women to rise up, especially good men to rise up with good biblical values that can articulate, that can communicate, and that can inspire and impact and change lives. I hope this serves you well. I hope I played maybe a 1% part in your journey of becoming the world's best version of you, the absolute most powerful communicator that you can be. If I played a 0.5%, then I did my job. If this video served you well, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That definitely helps us, and we would appreciate it. Plus, it also gives us great feedback on what type of content really resonates with you. And so with that being said, until next time, it was a pleasure. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace.